Hey everybody, this is RJ, and today's video is called Challenging Conversations. So we get in this routine of working amongst each other as colleagues, and somewhere along the line when we're doing a lot of business, we have a disruption. Let's just say an issue or a challenge, or somewhere along the way the teamwork stops working as a team. And that is where a difficult or challenging conversation has to come up. And this is when human beings, we all get along. There's times during the relationship where we have challenges. And at some point in time in the partnership, somebody needs to step up and have the difficult conversation to bring up what's going on. Because in most dysfunctional relationships, we just put it aside, we ignore it, and we hope it goes away. Well, guess what? It doesn't go away. So today's video is about talking about challenging conversations and the 3 steps on how to have them and get results from them. So the first step in having a challenging conversation is, of course, get to a point where you can't put it off any longer. You know what I'm talking about. When you just cannot deal with it anymore and you need to say your piece. Well, the most important step in step 3 of the 3 steps, the most important thing to remember in the 3 steps is to take step 1. Step 1 is called the intro. So when you come to this point in time when you need to have this conversation with that special somebody, you need to make sure the introduction is simple, accurate, and very concise. I'll give you an example. So, hey John, I want to have an opportunity to speak with you, and I want to make sure we're having a conversation where it's safe. The word safe is a very important word to use in the conversation because you want to be able to tell somebody it's safe to talk amongst each other because what you're trying to achieve, you're stating the goal. I'll use the example again. Hey John, this is RJ. I'm hoping to have a very important conversation with you, but I want to reassure you this conversation is about creating space and it's safe to talk amongst each other. So when I have this conversation with you, I want you to feel safe that you could say anything you want because I'm here to listen. Because right now I feel like we're not working well together right now, and I think it's really important to give you the opportunity to speak your mind as well as me speak my mind, but make it a safe conversation so we can overall have the results we both want. Did you see that introduction? I'm making sure the person is heard. I'm willing to speak. I'm willing to make this conversation safe, and I want us both to interact and get the desired result, which is a very smooth, harmonious relationship. So when I talk about the intro, you really got to talk about the big picture going on. You want results. You know and recognize there's a challenge and you want to get resolution. But more importantly, you got to make sure you want to make a safe conversation. Somewhere you are trying to invite the person into the conversation, invite them in without feeling afraid. You want to make sure you're using the word a safe conversation. You don't want them to fear it. You don't want them to resent it. You don't want to push back because you're telling them the overall goal is you want to get back to harmony. You want to get back to productivity, and you sense it, and you want to be able to have this conversation because at the end, both you and I are going to have a closer relationship and understanding each other. Okay, step 2, own it. Many people forget to use the right language in the challenging conversation. I'll give you an example of what not to do. Don't say, you make me feel this way, you make me feel that way, it's your fault of that. That is nowhere to be in this conversation. In fact, you need to take ownership of how you're feeling on what's really going on. For example, John, I'm feeling frustrated. John, I'm feeling like anxiety. I feel very frustrated and anxious about what's going on in our working relationship. I feel like I don't know what's going on every file. I feel like I'm just lost and I need some help understanding. Do you see how I took ownership, how I'm feeling? The most important thing you could do in step 2 is make sure you own your feelings and not project your feelings on somebody. I am feeling anxious. I am feeling lost in these files. I am feeling, this is how I feel. When you say I feel, that is not telling somebody they are making you feel. Because by the way, nobody can make you feel anything. Nobody. You own your feelings, and you need to make sure you own your feelings in the conversation. Finally, step 3 in this conversation of challenging conversation, step 3, very simple. You have 2 ears, 1 mouth. You need to remember that ratio, 2 to 1. Listen and pause. Pausing and listening and saying, now that I've been able to share how I'm feeling, I would love to hear your feedback and what's really going on with you, because I want to understand and get to this highly harmonious and productive relationship. Just listen. That's all you need to do. Listen. And if they don't want to talk, introduce them back to the safe conversation. Say, do you have any feedback? I would love to learn. I'd love to know how you're feeling and how I can help make this relationship work. Chances are, if you pause and say, I would like to get your feedback and I'm going to listen and take notes, please feel free to give me some feedback. That is the best thing you can do, is just shut up and listen. Pause. Pausing. That is the key to the 3 steps on having challenging conversations. I hope you like this video.